Okay, so apparently we're recording. Again. Once again. But see, I can't do this, and I can't be here and there at the same time. Or can I? What I need to do is keep this open, so it kind of tells me, yeah, whether or not there's an error. This is like a test. If this works, then in the future I won't need this thing here. If you know what I mean. I can put it kind of there. That thing's telling me I have a right click on it, put it always on top. Yeah, then I can do that. Okay, so I'm live. So I did this whole thing. There's me. And I was like, I was all into it and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm live streaming for the first time. This is awesome. And then I went back and I saw that I had been talking to myself for 20 minutes. Only 20. So here's me again, and we're gonna do. I'm gonna try to do GIMP. Let me just double check on the YouTube again. I have all these tabs open. That's in the way. I'm gonna go to I can draw that on Reddit later, and yeah, there's nothing else personal up here. So yeah, I'm still live. Apparently, that's working. I don't really like to show all this stuff, but that's what I gotta do at the moment. So we'll see how long this keeps up for, and if it crashes, it crashes. It looks pretty steady so far. So I'm gonna put this in a background just for a minute. What I'm doing, this is those error messages, they worry me. Anyway, I'll try and put this in the background. It looks relatively healthy. And what we're doing is we're playing here with the layer masks. I'm trying to get the layer masks working here. So what happens with layer masks, I'm not really teaching what a layer mask is. What this is, every Wednesday I'm trying to do a show like this, a live one, where we can just dive into the details of one little thing, because I don't know everything, and so I have to learn new stuff too sometimes. And so diving right in, here I have two images, and just a crash course, if you right click on one layer, so I have one layer is this image, the other layer is that image, and then there's nothing. So it's one layer on top of another. And if I right click on the layer that's, the image we're looking at here, and go add layer mask, or you could also go to the menu up top and just leave the default, which is usually white full opacity. So now I've added a layer mask on the top layer, and let me paint on that with black. And what it does is, as I paint black on it, it disappears. Let me check that thing. Yeah, we're still live apparently. And so that the reason that's very useful is because I can also turn it back to white, and so now I'm painting with white and it brings it back. So if you're in one of those situations where, and let's say you want to erase something, so I'm going to use the eraser right now. I just switched to the eraser. Let's say actually it's not erasing. Why is it? Is it still painting? No, it's erasing. It should be. That's so weird. Oh, because it's erasing yeah, it's erasing the alpha layer. Sorry. Let me move over to this layer. Okay. Now I should be erasing. Now I'm erasing the white thing. Okay, let me get rid of the alpha layer. That's why that's just confusing everything. Okay, now I have a normal layer. It's erasing. Yeah, there we go. Finally, jeez. Okay, so now I'm erasing. Let's say I erased around his arm. I go around his hand, right, and I go down here. I'm gonna try and zoom in a little. So this guy's arm there, and it goes back, and right here I go whoops, and I accidentally go across his arm. That's okay, I can just undo. But what if I kind of just want to be rough and I forget, I don't notice that, and I keep erasing and then erase and erase, and then later I realize, oh no, what did I do here? I made a mistake. Well, now I can't fix that. I can't just undo it. I have to go back like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What if it's 100 steps? But if you have, now let's undo all of that. And yeah, undo that. And then let's add the layer mask again. Let me check the video is still streaming. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay. And so now I'm going to use black to erase. right? And I can zoom in here. I can use black to erase, and then use white to bring it back, so I can get really detailed. So let's say, I use black. I go to my black, and I'm a little sloppy. Just go around like this, blah blah blah. Here, and then I can use the white and say, oh, I kind of missed this part here. Right, kind of missed a little part there. Bring it back. So you can switch back and forth between erasing and unerasing, and that's like really handy if you're trying to like do what they call photo bashing. Mixing photos together for different effects and stuff. And you just like erase and unerase. And so imagine I just wanted to cut this guy out. Imagine that he is, I could have used a photo, and you want to cut out like your friend's body. Or cut out your friend's face and put it on someone else's body, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of those haha things. And yeah, so you could use this and just really detail. I think I was using the eraser for a minute there actually, and just go in detail and get around. Oops, I have the smooth stroke on, so I couldn't move. So I mean, that's basically what the alpha layer is good for. It erases stuff that using the paint tool, and it unerases it using white. So you use black to erase and white to unerase. And so another thing you can do with that, since you can use gradients, here I'm going to make a gradient radial circle. So you see it reveals, here's the image underneath, and as I make a radiant circle, you can get this kind of effect. So imagine again, if you're using photos, you could have a beautiful scene and kind of like reveal your friend's image behind it, or if you want to do like a special effect on like illustration where you can throw a different background on top of some certain character. I mean, there's just so much you can do with it. Let me get, like, instead of radial, I do linear and go like this, so we can like blend two scenes together. So imagine using that, making kind of you had two illustrations, and use a blending effect like this to put them together to show some kind of dreamy like scene or something like that. There's just a million and one things you can do. And since you can use this gradient tool too, you can make a sharp edge like that, or you can spread it out a little further, or you can go really sharp, just make a tiny little edge like that, and the sky's the limit. And I can just keep making more radials here, and you can play with it all day. So it's a way to blend images very well. Usually that's what it is, because definitely it's going to give you let me check my video stream again. Yeah, we're still good. I don't want to talk to myself for 20 minutes again. So usually that's what you do, because everything with the layer mask is always having to do with making the top layer transparent. So it's going to reveal something underneath it. And that's actually what I learned today in the previous video where I was talking to myself. So it's not a video. And so what we'll do here is we'll go to delete layer mask. And I'm sorry you can't see everything. I can't zoom in. I could do that with the video editing software, but since this is live, that's going to be part of the penalty, the downside of it. Maybe I'll find a zoom tool later. So what happens if we go to black full transparency? We're just going to go through all of these on a list real quick. Black full transparency. So on that one, it's actually exactly the same, but it starts you off at full transparency. So now I'm going to use white to bring back the image. Or again, I could use white with a radial tool, gradient tool, I mean, and do the same thing, but just in reverse. So it starts off black and you bring it back. And then the next one after that, this is where I start to get confused myself. Layers alpha channel. Well, it does nothing at first, and I'll go to black now and paint. That's the same. I'll go to white and try to undo that. That's the same. So what does it do? Well, if I were to take, and this will be really hard to show because I can't zoom in. If I delete half of this photo before, I don't know why that happened. Before I do that, let me, oh actually, I have to undo the layer mask first. Let me undo. How many undos do I have to do here? Never mind. I'll delete delete layer mask. Let's go to, okay, now so I'll delete half the image. Get rid of that selection. So what it means, alpha transparency, all of this area that is deleted, that's transparent area, That's called alpha. And basically the word alpha is a synonym in programming terms. Alpha is always used to express, it's a number that expresses how much transparency there is. And I don't know why they use that word, but it is what it is. It means transparency. Let's look at it as a synonym for transparency. So alpha. So I add layer mask and it says layers alpha channel. So what it does here is, let me see if I flip this. Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know why you would do this, but the layer, it basically turns all of that what was transparent area into it automatically makes it black for you. Now I guess I could assume a couple of different reasons of why you'd do that, but I just can't think of a practical application for it. I don't know why you do it, but that's what it does. It automatically turns the alpha area into a black. So it turns a transparent area into a layer mask that has that particular blank area turned black for you. But then what would you do with that? I'm not quite sure. So anyway, transfer layers alpha channel. Again, we're gonna have a look here. Let's do the same thing. Whoops, wrong button. I'll delete half of this, and we'll do that one. Then, which is the next one? Transfer layers alpha channel. It does the opposite of that, or it looks like the same. I don't get it. I just, I don't know. I don't know what that is, and I've never had to use it, so I'm assuming it's not extremely important. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could be saving myself hours and hours of work, but I don't see how. It didn't help me to draw an illustration, so for me that wasn't too useful. Maybe it's useful for something else. I'll look it up. You can't know everything. So now let's try the next one, selection. This one I thought was pretty useful. This one makes sense. What we're doing here is first let's make a selection, and then we'll do that. And by the way, you can use the menu up here also. Go to layer, and I think, can you do that? Oh, I thought everything should have been in here. No. New layer, blah, blah, blah. No. Oh, that's funny. Normally everything that's in this menu is also in that one. Oh, there they have mask. Yeah, add layer mask. They do have it. So let me double check. I think that these two menus are always the same. Yeah, there it is. Add layer mask. So you can do it up there. So now this time we're going to do selection. It's the same tool. I just used a different menu. And that's what it does. Now I can undo the selection, and I'm going with my white paintbrush now. I can still bring back these areas. So that's really convenient, because you might want to select an area. Let's say I want to cut somebody out. So I'm going to get this, what they call the free select tool. I'm going to roughly, very quickly, just trace around this guy. Just really, really rough. Right? Get most of them. There. Now I have him pretty much selected, but very rough. I'm going to add the layer mask with that selection. And there you go. However, it's better than deleting, because now I can go in and fine-tune it with the black, and then every time I make a mistake, just forget about the mistakes. Just do that. Don't worry about mistakes. Yeah, I made a mistake, another mistake. Doesn't matter, because now I'm going to come back with white and bring back in the parts that were a mistake, right? And obviously I'm doing this like very rough. Normally you'd like zoom in. So that's kind of useful. You can start off with a selection. It'll automatically set that black area for you, and that's all that really does, But that's what this is all about. All of the layer masks is just a matter of playing with black and white to either delete or to make things transparent, and grayscale as well. So delete layer mask. The fact that you can use grayscale. So I don't know if I demonstrated that yet. Let me use a gray here. So use a gray paintbrush, and oops, after I add the layer mask, I mean, add that white full opacity. Here's just the default setting. And so now with a gray paintbrush, see what happens when I paint around? It's kind of halfway transparent. And so that's really the beauty of it. If I go black, I'll go black now, and it's completely erasing the top image. If I go very light gray, then it'll just be a little bit transparent. As you can see there, just a little bit. So you can play with it and do all kinds of effects with multiple images. Let me check my buffer again. Well, we're still there. Looks like we're good. Get rid of that layer mask, delete layer mask. We have one or two more to play with. The next one is grayscale copy of layer. This one's weird. It basically does that. I don't know why. Now if I hide the layer underneath, here we can see what it gave us. It's a funky looking thing. I don't know what that is. Not quite sure what that is. It almost looks like it's inverted, the color, but no, the darks are still dark. No, actually the white, there's light blue lines around like this area to be black, but still I can paint on it, and when I paint on it, it seems to be coming back to the original kind of look. What if I paint white on it? Huh? Oh yeah, I'm trying to get a white. If I paint white on it, oh yeah, that works. If I paint black on it, it goes white. That's weird. So I'm not, or is that, oh wait, is it going white, or is it, yeah, it's erasing, it's not white. So if I do white, okay, so I can still, yet again, I can still use white to unerase and black to erase. So even that is still there, but it did that weird grayscale phenomenon, and I don't know why. Really, I'm not 100% sure. I think it kind of makes it like it automatically sets it to half transparent. So anyway, let me go back a few steps and look at that initial result. And it's basically like this. So it almost like blends the two images with a grayscale effect. And that's pretty cool. I can see how that, just because it looks cool, you know, it might be useful. The last one, I don't know. And because when I click on it, it says channel. Now normally channel means like a certain color, like the red channel, or, you know, like the RGB. You have red, green, or blue. But it doesn't have it. It has a drop-down menu that doesn't give me options. So I don't know what that means. Maybe, you know, there's something else. And there's an invert mask checkbox down here, which means, well, you could invert what it normally does. Maybe that. Let me try it. But yeah, the channel thing doesn't work. So I don't know what that means. Yeah. So I inverted mask, and that just made it the opposite. So now it put black first, but it's still doing the same thing. Black erases and white does that. Okay, so it's actually nothing. So that's that. Actually, that's layer masks. That's what they do. And as you can see, I mean, I just have two random illustrations here to help make it relatively obvious, I hope, what it does. But imagine playing with photos, and if you have many photos, you could cut out pieces of photos using layer mask. I actually had a whole course on that. I changed the name to Fun with Photos in GIMP. You can look that up. It's either on Skillshare or Udemy. And that I originally called Manipulate Photos with GIMP, but oh, I'm not on camera there. Normally I'm on camera here. Let me disconnect. I don't know why it's like that. Let's see. I'm still streaming. Okay. Maybe that's part of why I had memory problems. Trying to do two things at once. There's me. Yeah, but it's not really, it's not working. Oh well, never mind that. I'll just turn that off. I'll have to fix that later. Hopefully we're still streaming. Let me check on YouTube. We're live. We're live, but you can't see me. Okay, anyway, this is my first time, or second, the first time it actually worked. It's like second time. Hopefully this all works out well, and I'll do this every Wednesday. Sorry I can't see you in person here and wave goodbye. Got the Logitech, got the Bison, do connect, see what works. I might be running out of memory. Yeah, well that's, oh, wait, there you go. Okay, yeah, good. Right, yes. And yeah, so that's all I wanted to do for this show, actually. And it's all about the layer mask. Just to review very quickly, you use layer mask and put it on one of your layers, and then you can play around with the transparency using black and white. And next time, on Sunday, I'm going to try to do another illustration video, and I'm going to try and do these every Wednesday. I think that's all I had to say. And if I talk too much, I'll try my luck and everything will crash here. So have a good day. See you later. Stay creative and keep gimping. All right, guys. See ya.